On any given day, Action Staffing Group is very involved of the moving of merchandise and product, whether it be on a commercial level or whether it be to your doorstep. We deal with client companies that handle food, beverages, paper goods, all different types of products, with the intent to get them from distribution center to retail stores and ultimately to your front door. Well, in addition to moving product, we are also involved in the removal of recyclables and garbage from your doorstep. We work with several recycling companies that do this every single day. And as you might imagine, it's another area where safety is a very important topic. So let's break this down. The pickup of these items involves a truck, which pretty much looks like your average garbage truck. And we employ driver helpers that will typically start their day sitting in the cab next to the driver. And then eventually, as they get into the route area, they're moving to the back of the truck where they're holding on to a handle and standing on a small platform and getting on and off the truck while they complete the route. So let's go over some of the basics. As we've said already, dress for success. And even in an environment like this, it's extremely important to pick the right clothing to wear. Regular fitting pants, regular fitting shirts, nothing oversized that could get stuck or caught on the truck while you're getting on or off. Work boots in good condition, steel toes, very important. Again, if something was to fall on you or you bang your foot somehow, you want to be protected. Cold weather environment, safety gloves, an absolute must. I recommend safety glasses, just to make sure anything you're picking up or moving around doesn't blow into your eyes. And weather conditions, whether it be very sunny out, whether it be raining cold, obviously headgear is an important part of your safety outfit for the day. And while we're talking safety, you should always be wearing a reflective vest that will protect you, particularly in dark areas where you might not be seen getting on and off that truck. Now, as that truck is moving, proper care has to be taken to get on and off the truck at all times. You cannot do this recklessly, because even a truck going 5 miles an hour is a safety hazard to you when you don't properly disengage from that truck. That's when you're talking about a twisted ankle, a broken ankle, a jammed foot or toe. That's when these things happen. And by the way, Action employees should only be moving garbage and recyclables onto the truck. In other words, picking up the pails and dumping them into the truck. Now let's talk about some do's and don'ts. I heard a story not too long ago where one of my driver helpers pulled out his back. Why? He went to lift up a pail and didn't realize the pail was filled with cement. And he claims that when he lifted that pail, not realizing what was in the pail, the sudden presence of weight caused him to pull out his back. Now, all I can tell you is every time I hear these circumstances, I learn from them. So what's the case in point? When you are picking something up to dump into the truck, don't just look at the truck. Look at what you're picking up. And if there's a surprise in that pail where someone has a cinder block in a garbage pail, trying just to get rid of it from their property, don't be the victim of picking that up and then wrenching your back. In that particular case, you want to immediately tell the driver, I think there's something illegal here that we're not supposed to be picking up. And that's the case where you would just leave it by the curb. You also want to make sure that you are mindful that you are moving in a truck in a neighborhood. So clean up after yourself. Don't leave garbage out in the path, because the client you're working for no doubt has a city contract. And let's be respectful to that. Let's make sure we don't do anything that causes them to lose their contract. All right? And again, when you get back on the truck, very important to plant your feet properly and make sure you're on the truck securely. Eric, what have you found in your experience in terms of recycling companies and accidents and safety problems. What are some things that come to mind that you can share with our viewers today?
Yeah. Well, Mark, you hit on two very important points. One, do not jump off a moving vehicle. And two, always check the weight. Again, cement could be in there, sheetrock, something heavy that you wouldn't expect. The other thing that happens fairly often is people may throw broken glass or sharp objects or something in a bag. If that bag's not in a hard container and you rub that against your leg, you could easily cut your leg. So never pick up a bag and run it anywhere across your body. Always make sure you keep that away from you and you don't come in contact with it. The other thing too is obviously in the wintertime, you've got snow and ice. So again, when you get off the truck, you have to make sure you have good slip resistant shoes on. And also again, look where you're stepping because you don't know, it could be black ice. Snow could be covering a pothole. I have to be honest, I was a mailman at one time and that did happen to me. The snow was covering a pothole, and when I got off my mail truck, I stepped right into it and twisted my ankle. And that was a lesson that I've learned. Make sure I never do something like that again. So those are very important things that you have to remember. And also, too, is that you're probably on different routes. So the situations change daily. And we mentioned before the use of the reflective vests. This is also something that's very important because the other driver or other cars need your visibility to make sure that they see you so they don't hit you.
You know, you bring up a good point about the vests and just the rigor of the day. You know, as we are taping today, it's probably about 95 degrees outside, and I know I've got about 50 people doing this job today. Let me tell you something. You don't need to belong to a gym when you're a driver helper for a recycling company. It is a job of rigor. You are going to work. You are going to be out in the elements. It's no easy task. So the basics need to be covered. And that begins with making sure you had some breakfast before you begin this job, or if you're working night shift, that you had dinner. And hydration is very, very important. You want to have some water with you to make sure you keep your body hydrated, because let me tell you something. On a 95-degree day, jumping on and off trucks, picking up pails, dumping them into that truck, if you don't think you're going to lose some water, you're kidding yourself. So along with safety is making sure your body is prepared to deal with the elements and the physical challenges of the work required. This is not a desk job, and this is not for people that can't keep up with a fast pace of activity. So what are we talking about here? Well, we go back to the beginning. When you come into our office and you fill out that application and you say to the Action recruiter, you know, I'll do anything. And he or she says, well, I could use you at this recycling company tomorrow. And all of a sudden, you remind yourself that you're really not physically fit for too much physical exertion like this. Pass on this job and wait for something else, please. A lot that goes into safety has to do with training and avoiding safety hazards. But when one's own body is not prepared for a certain physical challenge, well, in a way, you're throwing safety right out the window. So please, ask questions, understand the work that's required, and the pace that's required. And by the way, picking up garbage and recyclables, that's not a 1-hour shift. These shifts generally are 8 hours, and you're going through neighborhoods. And if you're going through neighborhoods, you're going through them in any weather that we have. In the wintertime, in the summertime, rainy day, cold day, warm day, it doesn't matter. Okay? When those routes have to get picked up, they will get picked up. So please, like anything, make sure you are physically prepared for the challenges of the work. That is where safety starts.